There was a person who tried to look back at their childhood and found only blank spaces. Not a few missing moments, but whole years that felt like someone had erased the film. They could remember fragments, a toy, a smell, a hallway, but the rest was gone, swallowed by a quiet fog. While other people spoke of birthday parties and family trips with clear detail, they sat in silence, wondering why their own past felt like someone else's story. And if you've ever tried to reach for memories that should be there and found only emptiness, then this story is for you. You see, the person who can't remember their childhood isn't broken or forgetful. No child arrives in the world automatically wiping their past clean. But when a child grows up in an environment where emotions were too overwhelming, where pain was constant, or where love felt unsafe, something profound shifts inside them. Their mind learns that remembering hurts, so it protects them by locking the memories away. And so, they grow up believing that the blank spaces in their mind are normal, something everyone lives with, something that simply means they are bad at remembering. This is the psychology of people who can't remember their childhood. Not just a memory issue, but a survival strategy that follows them into adulthood, shaping how they trust, how they feel, and how they see themselves. And the strange part is, many of them don't even realize it until they feel a quiet emptiness when others talk about their past, or until they notice how hard it is to connect with the child they once were. Let's go deeper. What happens when a child's nervous system decides that remembering is dangerous? When every painful moment, every dismissal, every unspoken fear becomes too heavy for a young mind to hold, the brain, in its wisdom, begins to repress. It pushes the memories down, not because it wants to hurt you, but because it wants to keep you safe. In homes where emotions were minimized, where stop crying was a daily command, or where the child's pain was never fully seen or soothed, the mind adapts by creating distance. It becomes the one who forgets so it can survive. And while the world praises them for being so easygoing or not dwelling on the past, inside there is a quiet ache. The ache of a child whose story was too heavy to carry, so the mind chose to let it go. Psychologists call this repression a protective mechanism. But for many, it begins as an adaptation. When a child learns that remembering brings pain, they don't stop feeling. They simply learn to carry the emptiness instead. They become hyper-aware of the present while slowly losing access to their own past. They absorb the silence around their history while disconnecting from the child they once were. And while this forgetting becomes their shield, it also becomes their heaviest weight, because no one taught them that their memories deserve to be held gently. No one showed them that their inner child was worthy of being remembered, and this belief doesn't disappear when they grow up. It follows them. The person who can't remember their childhood becomes the adult who feels disconnected from their own story, the one who struggles to answer simple questions about their past, the one who feels a strange emptiness when others share childhood memories, the one who wonders why they feel like a stranger to the child they used to be. They confuse the blank spaces with normalcy. They confuse repression with strength. They confuse the fog with peace. But here's the part most people never realize. Not being able to remember your childhood is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of early protection that never got acknowledged. It is a survival adaptation. The child learned that remembering was unsafe, So their mind chose to forget in order to keep them alive. So they carried the silence. They stopped asking about the past. They became the adult in a child's forgotten body. And the cost of this adaptation is profound. The person who can't remember their childhood grows up with a deep fear of looking back. Rest feels uneasy. Questions about their past feel threatening. Connecting with their inner child feels impossible. They become experts at living in the present while completely disconnecting from their own history. They can sense when others are hurting, but they struggle to name their own story without feeling lost. They give endlessly to the present, but they feel ashamed when they try to reclaim their past. This creates a quiet, invisible emptiness. Not the kind that comes from physical loss, but the existential kind. The emptiness of carrying a life story that feels half erased. The emptiness of never fully knowing the child who once lived inside them. But here's the hidden gift inside this pain. The person who can't remember their childhood develops incredible strengths. They become deeply present, intuitive, resilient. They know how to live in the now because their mind had to protect them from the then. They know how to sense safety because they once had to survive without it. These are beautiful qualities. But the problem is that these strengths were forged under pressure, and they come with a heavy price. The loss of their own history, the loss of their own roots, the loss of their own voice. So, what happens when this person becomes an adult? They often find themselves in relationships where they feel disconnected from their own story. They struggle with identity because the foundation feels missing. They feel guilty for not remembering because the blank spaces make them question if they were ever really there. And slowly, the very forgetting that helped them survive childhood becomes the thing that limits their freedom in adulthood. But there is hope. Healing for the person who can't remember their childhood begins with awareness. The first step is recognizing that your inability to remember is not a personality flaw. It is a survival strategy. It is the child's way of staying safe in an environment that made remembering too painful. When you see it this way, you stop judging yourself for it. You stop calling yourself forgetful or broken. You begin to understand that you were never meant to carry that weight alone. The next step is grief. Grief for the sensitive inner child whose memories were too heavy to hold. Grief for the moments that were lost to protection. Grief for the small child who had to forget in order to survive. This grief is not weakness, it is honesty. It is the beginning of integration. It is you finally giving yourself permission to feel what you were never allowed to remember without shame. And then comes the gentle reparenting. You begin to give your inner child what they never received. You begin to create safety around the blank spaces without forcing the memories back. You begin to honor the child who chose to forget without judgment. You begin to let yourself feel the emptiness without rushing to fill it. You begin to speak softly to the parts of you that were once too painful to remember. This is not too much. This is healing. This is you becoming the safe presence your forgotten inner child always needed. The person who can't remember their childhood grows up believing that the blank spaces make them incomplete. Healing is learning that those blank spaces were an act of love from a child trying to survive. Healing is learning that they don't have to remember everything to be whole. Healing is learning that their worth is not in what they can recall, but in who they are when they finally feel safe enough to feel. And maybe one day, without even noticing exactly when it happened, you will find yourself feeling a gentle curiosity about your past without being overwhelmed. You will find yourself honoring the blank spaces without shame. You will find yourself creating safety for the inner child who once had to forget. And in that moment, you will realize that the child who couldn't remember is finally being held. The child whose story was too heavy is finally allowed to rest. This is not the end of forgetting. It is the beginning of gentleness. You can still have blank spaces, still feel the fog sometimes, still carry the protection. But now it comes from choice, not from survival. Now it comes from a place of wholeness, not from a place of fear. The psychology of people who can't remember their childhood is the story of a child who learned to forget the world so deeply just to stay safe. But it is also the story of an adult who can finally protect that child and say, "Your story matters too. You are allowed to remember safely." And that perhaps is the most beautiful ending of all.